I fell in love with this dumb show so hard. It's actually brilliant. Mashle is freaking amazing. It's not the biggest anime ever, but it's a show that is so ridiculously over the top, and it knows it. It knows exactly what it's trying to be, and it's executed perfectly. Mashle doesn't lie, man. Its sole purpose is to provide us with hysterical and downright outrageous moments that leave us craving more. Now, this show isn't the best of what's on offer this season, not at all. This season is stacked with an insane amount of amazing shows. But what Mashle does is that it stands above all the rest with how unapologetic it is for being exactly what it is. Mashle knows that it's a show that's crazy, insane, and way over the top, but that's exactly what the show advertised itself as, and it is not afraid to either go completely plus ultra on itself or to make fun of itself for being what it is. The common thing you'll hear about Mashle is that it's Harry Potter meets Black Clover meets One Punch Man, and that is 100% the correct description of this show. The Harry Potter aspect is that it is set in a world of magic, with a magic school that has, the same lessons one would attend at Hogwarts, and there was even like a freaking Quidditch episode recently. Mashle certainly doesn't hide the fact that it has taken influence from that franchise at all. The Black Clover aspect is that the main protagonist, Mash, is a dude who is born magicless in a world where magic literally means everything, and to combat being magicless, he has to insanely train his own body to godlike levels where his strength knows no bounds. The One Punch Man aspect of this show is that there are plenty of douchebag characters in this show who are all, of course, magic users and born into these big noble families who look down on the weak and throw their status around as if it gives them power. Mash has to, of course, combat this, and in which 99.9% of the time it results in him throwing a singular punch which renders their magic useless and leaves them totally KO'd. So yeah, going into the show, I was like, okay, sounds like it could be pretty funny. I'll give it a bash and see what it's all about, only to be hit square in the face with an actual really freaking insanely good anime. Honestly, I look forward to this show so much every week because it's actually brilliant. There was a lot of expectation for the Mashle anime in that the anticipation was in line with what this series looked to be about. We were expecting a show that was, a fun, goofy anime with a strong personality and wonderful humor. Not the next big hype anime or the next Chainsaw Man, and boy does Mashle provide just that. Nothing more and nothing less. For many of us, the fact that we're going to get a silly parody series with dry humor and a stupidly OP hero was more than enough. Mashle has so far satisfied us with its bright animation, funny music, Harry Potter meets One Punch Man vibes, and unexpected thematic depth, living up to its reasonably high expectations. So what's the show about? So Mashle is basically set in a magical world, a world where magic not only exists, but it affects all aspects of daily life. For even the most straightforward tasks, everyone would just use magic for it. It's like the ultimate form of laziness, I guess, at this point. However, deep in the woods dwells a young man who can't use magic, but despite his lack of magical ability, he makes up for it with superhuman strength. That young man, of course, being none other than main protagonist, Mash. So, for reasons that Mash does not understand, his father has raised him alone. Here he has a pretty calm and carefree life and works out relentlessly during the day. Now, Mash's father appears to adore him, but also seems to have failed the young man miserably in terms of his education. Basically meaning, yeah, Mash is very, very simple-minded, but this really does add to some comedy gold-esque moments throughout the series. Now, while initially being told that anyone can use magic as this has always been the case, we are soon made aware that this is not the case. People like Mash are extremely uncommon to the point that they're seen as a stain on the magic world, and the magic police will hunt them down and murder them. And I gotta say, that was a pretty deep and dark point to this show, one that I wasn't expecting at all, but it highlights how corrupt this place is. So one day, told to avoid the city by his father, Mash of course goes into the city, where we first see his love of cream puffs. So weird, but it totally fits the vibe of Mash and the show in general. Even the ending theme is centered around the love of cream puffs. It's really good. Anyway, Mash is of course eventually found out by the magic police for being a magicless dude, and they track him down to his house in the woods. Now, Mash isn't at the house at the time, and they attack Mash's father, who is protecting Mash's whereabouts. And then, yes, of course, Mash returns to aid his father in a very epic fashion for the show. Honestly, it was brilliant. It was everything and more of what I wanted in this scene. So after the epic battle Mash KOing scene, basically the head of the police tells him that if he can become the divine visionary at the prestigious Eastern Academy, which is basically being acknowledged as the best student at the school, then he will let he and his father live. So the magicless Mash enrolls at the famous Eastern Magic Academy, where the kids of some of the most powerful and elite families in all the realm attend. Of course, Mash is already at a huge disadvantage because he lacks the very ability required to live at Eastern, which is of course magic. In such, Mash has to battle his way through every obstacle standing between him and the title of Divine Visionary with just his fists, defeating magic with strength in order to accomplish his goals. And I've got to say, it's been absolutely brilliant. You know, we're only 3 or 4 episodes in at the time of this video's making, but it just gets me every single time. There have been like a couple of lessons or situations Mash has been in, and you just think to yourself like, man, how the hell is he going to do this without magic? It's literally impossible. But then like Mash just does the most outrageous and out of this world stuff. And here, not only does he accomplish the task, but he like breaks magic world records and whatnot. It's honestly some of the most hype stuff I've ever seen. Like, literally just talking about this anime gets me super pumped to like watch more Mashle, man. Like, it's just that good. I want to watch more Mashle. So yeah, Mashle doesn't yet possess the all-important it element that other mega hits do, but it's not far behind, and the anime provides us with everything we want in a silly anime series, plus a little bit extra. This anime is basically just shamelessly itself, but it's an anime that is most certainly clearly defined and has a very confident tone to it. Like, Mashle isn't really an anime that's going to make you think or ask any questions, but what it is going to do is entertain you. And I feel like Mashle is one of the biggest gems of this spring anime season for that sole reason. It allows us viewers to just switch off and laugh at the insane training scenes. You know, we drop plenty of WTFs whenever the cream puffs are involved, and of course, it makes us feel that hype feeling in the pit of our guts when Mash pulls off an insane feat or drops a next level punch on one of the other douchebag students. Which is another thing that Mashle does so well, by the way. It obviously puts Mash in situations where us as viewers hate the guy that is being a total dick to him or to any of his friends, and we just want to punch that person ourselves. Instead, we just know that they have made a huge mistake and that they have completely messed with the wrong person, so we get to watch the crazy way in which Mash deals with it. Like, we've not even seen Mash have to try yet either, so I'm totally excited to see Mash perhaps push to a little bit more to the point where he has to try, or even better, if Mash is put in a situation where he has to go beyond his limits. Of course, to quote Black Clover, of course, would be rude not to. The moment where he has to dig deep into the very core of his strength and get the win. Either way, I just can't wait to see where this crazy little show takes us, and I am 100% in for the entire ride. Now, while you wait for the next video to drop, why not check out this video where I talk about another really great anime this spring season in Hell's Paradise. Guys, that is it from me. I will see you soon. You take care of yourselves till then. Okay, bye-bye. Peace.